Hello, hello, hello. Tardes, buenas noches. Que Dios te bendiga. I'm sitting here at the mic. Actually, I'm sitting in my most comfortable chair, my most comfortable spot. Feeling very, very, very grateful for the inspiration and the sense of purpose that brings me to the microphone, and pure, pure gratitude. And I want to start this off like, you know how some rides have a warning or things you eat, or there's just warnings before you see something. This isn't a warning. This is more of I'd say a request to touch base with yourself, to listen to these words as a companion. I've always imagined myself in this space, which has been like 10 years now, which is nothing. 10 years is nothing. My hope is that I will be continuing this work in some form 40 years from now. And what I know with certainty, interestingly enough, is I won't know enough then either. There is this not knowing enough, and it's okay, because there is so much more to know. And that's what's beautiful. Like, I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, and I'm sorry, but go with me. The unfolding of a flower, the layers of things that happen, everything is different all the time. And so your knowing is knowing in this moment, in this space, and what's going on right now. And that's all you can ask for. That's all you can have. Actually, that really leads into the purpose of me coming to you today. Is first that I wanted to say that this is my lived experience. And so that's really the invitation, is for you to listen with your, the ears of your heart, with the deep sense of connecting to what may resonate with you. And without any sense of anything leaving at the door what isn't for you. Because this is simply my story and my experience. But I know, like one of those deep knowings, that it also may be helpful for you. Because you've found it, because it's in your ear. Because maybe you're taking a walk with me. Oh, going back to the image, sorry. The image that I've always seen myself as, or that represents this work, is holding a lantern as I'm walking alongside you, and the path may be slightly dark. But the longer you walk that path, is that I just add some illumination. But that illumination really isn't from the outside. It's easy for us to imagine it from the outside, because that's where we want it to be. And it is such an honor to be asked to walk alongside you, or to visit with you, or to accompany you. But the truth is that illumination only comes from within. And when you can see with the eyes of your heart, and not the one with eyelids, then you'll know what that truth is. And you'll know what that truth is in that very moment, and what that truth is for you. Because that word truth, in whatever language you use it, is a very layered thing. We each have a truth. My dad hasn't told me very many dichos de mi abuelita, but one of them that he does say is, each individual person, the head of someone, the way that we think, the way that we see, the way that we live our lives, it's an entirely unique and separate world, even though we're connected in one world. There's truth between us, but we each see things a tiny bit different. And, we have to honor that truth. But we have to recognize what that truth is for ourselves, too. So, I feel very grateful to be with you. I feel very honored to feel even an inspiration. And I recognize now that even whatever comes out of my mouth, it is shared with you with nothing but good intentions. And I'm just thankful I'm thankful for everything. So with that precursor there, the question that I came to explore with you is, what does it take to know the right thing to do? And that question really lands so heavy for me, because it's what initiated this journey for me however many years ago. What's the right thing to do? A question that's nibbled at me my entire life. As the oldest child of a large Catholic family in a small town in West Texas, all through my life and even into my early marriage, I thought that the right thing to do what lived outside of me. The right thing to do was something someone told me, and I simply obeyed. And here's an example of that. In my first few years of college, you take all these general courses, and one of them was called Marriage and Family. So I don't know how long David and I were married, but it wasn't very long. Josh was small, and we lived in on-campus student housing outside of Fort Hood, because that's where David was stationed, was a soldier in the Army. And I was in this marriage and family class, and I had got to a part where they were sharing statistics. They were talking about divorce, and I knew a lot about divorce. It felt like everyone around me was divorced, that I didn't have an example of a good marriage, which wasn't true at all, because we all have the Holy Family to look to, right? And that's actually where I landed. Because when we look at the examples in front of us, they come with flaws because we are human. I was focused on seeing what was wrong in marriages, which is human nature. It's why I say so often that we have to learn to love being human. And it's what I've taught for so long, because we're designed that way, to have like Velcro the negative things in front of us and like let it slip through our fingers like Teflon. The beautiful things, the $1 million moments and memories and insights that are just there to like inspire us. That's work that we have to do. It's not our nature, because our nature is to survive. Our nature is to move away from fear, when our only purpose is to move towards love. And so I looked to words in a book to tell me what was true. And because of that, it's funny now, but I was serious as a heart attack. I had planned to have one of the first sort of family moments to sit down at the table and have this talk. And I had all these books lined out because I had taken to heart these statistics that were in this book. And so I was there to present my case to David and to inform him that it was best for us to get a divorce now, early in our marriage, while we still cared for each other, while we could still respect each other, while we could still look at each other and see that we're really here to create a good family for Joshua. And if that's what we wanted, then we needed to do that apart, where that could be our only focus. And it would save us so many years of pain. That was the thesis of the talk. And I went over all the statistics. And if I remember correctly, the chance of us having a good marriage, a lasting marriage, a healthy marriage, were like less than 1%. And so I asked him for a divorce. And in his wisdom, at like 18 or 19 years of age, he looked at me with the most loving eyes and a little bit of sadness in them, if I can remember correctly. And he started to just very slowly close all the books I had in front of me. And then he took me by my hand, he picked me up, and he said, "Let's make dinner." And so we went in the kitchen, and I was a little shocked because, trust me, I was prepared for a fight. I felt like at the time I knew how to fight in my own way. And so I looked at him, and I think the last words that I said to him were, "Don't say I didn't warn you." And that, my friends, was 34 years ago. And so we're still married. And I'm so very grateful to say I feel very happily married. And so those books were all wrong. Now, sometimes those books were right, because there is no marriage that has this like thin line that always goes upward, right? Life is life, and there's no way to escape that. But we have to learn to love being human. And we have to learn that truth, that the right thing to do is within us, and that it is shifting in every moment. So the question I was posed with was, what does it take to know the right thing to do? If that's the question you're asking, what is the right thing to do? Then there is no single answer. And the right thing to do is literally in this moment. It's not the right thing to do 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It's what is right for you right now, because life, it's like weather. It changes. Now you can set a goal, like to get somewhere. I prefer my goals to be towards a shining star versus a destination. Because if I'm getting to a destination, then it's likely that I have some expectations of that destination, and they may not meet the mark. But if there's this shining star that I'm getting to, like the GPS signal can take me, I'm always guided by this, and that's the direction I'm going in. And so I can accept the route changes, the scenery, the things that are life, as I am guided by that purpose, not by a single destination. The old question I used to ask myself is, what is the right thing to do? And the example I'm giving you with the story of David and I early in our marriage is that, and what I'm encouraging you to do is to look for that quote unquote right thing within you. Everything I do is about looking within you. So this isn't a surprise. It's really just a way to help you remember. But this other question, the question that was actually posed to me, what is the right thing to do, is the same question I've been asked by every single person I've worked with over the last decade. And that's always been the answer. And the way that we travel is different, because there is no single formula. There is no unique path. For some we might be climbing a mountain. For some we might be floating in a river. Everybody travels differently when they're being guided to really live out this exploration of the question, what's the right thing to do for me? But this is an even deeper, more beautiful question that I feel a bit surprised to be looking at, because again, my eyes saw the old question I've been answering for the last 10 years. And this is a beautiful new question. What does it take to know the right thing to do? If I were to answer that generally, like what does it take? It takes trust in yourself. It takes grace, compassion, and patience. It honestly takes a lot of work to understand the world that you're living in. Like the disho that my dad told me, my grandmother used to say. Explore the world that you are living in. And know that there is no leap. Like you're taking one step. In a nutshell, I'd say that's what it is. Really, really live within the environment of who you are. Discern what is yours and what isn't yours. Like, for instance, those books that I was looking at, they weren't a prediction of the outcome of my marriage. Looking back now, they were simply a reporting of the data they had in front of them. And here's the thing, as a human being, there's this beautiful system that literally works through intention and So first of all, there's so many data points coming at us through our eyes, through our skin, through our senses, that our body has to sort of whoosh and limit what comes in. Otherwise, we would be completely overwhelmed with all the sensory information coming in. And so that sensory information is narrowed through our own intention. Rick Hanson's metaphor of a Dyson, our brain as tofu. Tofu takes on whatever you cook it with, the flavors. And there's a Dyson on it. It's a very powerful vacuum cleaner. And our intention has this like light bulb, right? So wherever you focus that beam of light, that Dyson is going to suck that information in and give it to our brain. And so what it takes to know the right thing to do is to really understand and explore your world and focus your attention. Focus your intention, because that's what's going to help you draw in the knowing that you're looking for. Because what you're really looking for isn't the right thing to do. Because again, that right little word, it's an either or. It's right or it's wrong. And that's not how life is lived. There are variations. I'm pretty certain I put something about that in one of the chapters of the book. Foundational to this new insight that came to me and that I was asked to write about. And if I haven't or didn't add in the difference between this and or right and wrong, it's either or. That's not it. We can never be it. It's never that simple. It's this and. And you're stepping into a space. And it can only be in this exact context that you can reach out your hand, that you can close your eyes, that you can ask for help, and that you can say, what is it that is for me, that is going to be the best thing for all. And I think that's also like this dance that I've played with folks. You know, when we're on the dance floor, it's what's right for them, or what should they do, and what should I do. It's a dance. Like everyone's on the dance floor. And there is a greater good out there. And we just have to hold our intention to it. And you will be guided to know what that is. And so if I go back to that question again, landing from here, that I believe you will be guided to know, then the question becomes, how will I be guided? And that's where the beauty is. That's where your practice is. That's where the process is, to work, do the work within to know what that guidance system is for you. How you tune into your own GPS. Because there are as many different ways as there are people on the earth. We are unique fingerprints. And here's the recognition, the understanding that I came out of my near-death experience with. I don't know that this is actually said by Mother Teresa, but it really resonated with me. We are chubby pencils without erasers in the hand of God. And so when the question is asked, what does it take to know the right thing to do? Allow yourself to be guided. Ask for that guidance. And then you'll begin to trust the knowing that is within you. And that's really the deeper level of this question, is to hear and to trust the knowing that is within you to guide you. It's unique to you. It is special to you. And if I were to generalize the work, or a way for you to begin that work, you want to become like a scientist of yourself and begin to experiment and note experiments. I use a journal or a voice note or Evernote, or whatever way that you sort of take notes of things. And this is how you focus your attention. Set your intention to track right? To capture when you had a knowing and you followed it, or what your knowing feels like or looks like. Are there sensations that go with it? Can you hear it? Do you see it? And start to just track. You can use, it's like body testing. So let's say that you're about to decide what you're going to eat. And there is one thing that may be better for you than another thing in that moment. Let's compare between an apple and an orange. Well, hold your apple and hold the orange in two different hands. And see if you can sense that one is for you and one isn't. In that moment, doesn't mean that the apple is wrong or the orange is wrong. You may just need one nutrient at the time more than another. And that also, like if you blow that example up, that's the same thing that happens in the world, right? This could be a right thing, but maybe it's not the right thing for you right now. Because that's one thing that I learned the hard way. Trying to be everything to everyone all the time. It's just not possible, and it'll break you. But over a lifetime, there's so many beautiful things you can do and be and have. And so that's my invitation. If this is a question that you've also been very curious about, what does it take to know the right thing to do? Practice. Practice to learn how to love being human and to tap into that harmony that lives within you. It's not anywhere else. It's already there. It's like you have to uncover it. You have to remember it. And we have to practice it because the natural design of this vessel is survival. And what we reach for is this unfolding, this beautiful unfolding of so much more than survival, right? Of delight, of awe. There are just a million words, but they all are some form of love, which is my guiding star. And anything that guides me towards love is the right thing for me to do in that moment. It's not about the right thing to do. It's about how do you know? How do you know? This is a fascinating conversation for me. So if you're interested in having a dialogue about it, you know how to reach me. And until then, I'll leave you with that homework. If this is a path that you feel called to explore, begin to explore it through whatever medium it is that you feel called to. Because that knowing can be explored. If you think about creativity in general, this question is most beautifully explored through your own creation, right? That pencil in the hand of God, the journal, your experience on paper, or maybe your experience on canvas, your experience with a musical instrument, your experience with your bare feet walking. This knowing happens through your experience in creation. This pencil in the hand of God is moving. It is creating. It's making its mark. How do you want to explore that knowing? What art, what thing calls you to engage with it? A few years ago, like a lot of us during the pandemic, were called to garden. And that was such a life-changing experience for me to see things that I planted as seeds grow. And I'm a pretty old woman. And to have never seen the way that a plant grows a flower and then that flower becomes a fruit. Wow, I was missing out on life. That was so cool. And to nurture it. So, I am so very grateful for this question, and I'm grateful that I was surprised by the depth of it. And I hope that this conversation, this dance with my own inner knowing in public with you, offered to you, has served you in some way. And like I started off, allow what resonates to land. Let it simmer. If it doesn't, then let it go. And that's part of the dance of knowing, is that if it touches you, it's for you. if it delights you, like there's something there. And in my mind, because I've worked with others who said this, I'm going to guess that maybe you might be saying, I don't know, I've never had that happen. You likely have. You just have to go back in your own memory to find them. There are highlights of your life. There are things that you knew made your heart dance. And like a scientist, you just have to understand what that context was. And remember that we each have seasons. There's nothing that stays with us our whole life. Like we have to ebb and flow. Even our skin. I read somewhere once that we replace every cell of our body within 7 years. So we're completely different people. We may look the same, not factoring weight fluctuations and things like wrinkles and things like that. But people can recognize us when in reality we're totally different. That's the thing. Just allow yourself a practice that helps you to explore what your own knowing is. And the right thing for you will be easier and easier to discern. And with that, there's actually a second part to this question, but that'll have to be part 2. I leave you with love.